All right, it is So What's the Catch time. We're starting just a little bit before 2 o'clock, and the door to the studio is still open.
Can you go fix that?
All right.
Now it's closed.
Let's get to it. We shut the door. It is showtime. Starting off on a very strong note, Kramer's got some snacks that he just brought in, and I'm kind of checking these out a little bit.
Yeah.
Combos, baby.
What kind of snack food you got over there?
Coffee?
The way I see it, when like when I do football games, combos are my usual go-to snack. So
which ones?
I like the pizza one, like the cheddar one, and they've had some new ones that are.
I'm a fan of the 7-layer dip.
Yeah, they have a honey sriracha one too. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Combos not that bad for when you're doing work because you know what? They're not greasy, they're not oily.
Right.
So you're able to just if you're typing, you're able to just kind of grab some and keep working. But we could probably talk about snacks.
They're the perfect all-around snack. So combos,
All right.
we need an endorsement.
All right, so we probably sit here talking about snack food the entire time. And that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about sports, and mainly, apparently, we're talking about Roger Goodell commenting on the Bills' future in Buffalo.
Yeah. So,
Don't look at me.
Sorry, I just heard you pop with the can. I'm like, what?
This is hour one. Come on.
Yeah, this is
I'll give you $5 if you chug the entire thing right now. I'm messing with you.
All right. So, the Buffalo Bills want a new stadium. We've kind of talked about this on the show. And Goodell was saying, we're focused on keeping the Bills in Buffalo in a new stadium in a public-private partnership. That's what this is all about, and that's where we're focusing. So
this is a good thing for the Bills, right?
Yeah.
And the Bills have been doing so good. That shows you, the better the team is, the more the city supports you.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's 100% a Bills town. I mean, the Sabres are there, but who cares?
It's a football town,
It's a
right?
football town,
I mean,
okay?
Buffalo wings.
The Sabres are probably the worst team in hockey.
Yeah, since Dominic Hasek retired, that team is just kind of irrelevant.
Funny side note, when Dominic Hasek played for the Red Wings, he had an office next to my dad's in a business park.
That's a fun side note. That's actually really cool.
For his clothing company.
I'm a
Dominator
huge
Clothing.
Hasek fan.
But
I love the helmet, his old school helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get guys like that anymore.
But not to get too off on a tangent, just you mentioned Hasek, so the side note. But the Bills staying in Buffalo, I mean, they have to, right?
Yes. I mean, was it ever a question that this was going to happen, though? I mean, I guess the new stadium deal, sure, but I mean, if there's a city in America that deserves football more than Buffalo, I mean, I challenge you to show it to me.
Cleveland.
Toronto.
Well, I mean, Cleveland goes without saying. I mean, the fans brought an organization back to Cleveland through sheer willpower. And
you just said Toronto.
Yes.
What, the Argonauts?
Yeah, there's...
Oh, my bad.
and
Different stadiums.
And
Look
also,
at a CFL team, man.
and also, the Bills, for a brief period of time, actually played games up in Toronto.
I didn't know that.
Preseason. Yep, they did the little preseason experiment.
Oh, I thought they did regular season
I
games.
do not believe they did a regular season game. I believe it was only for preseason games. They're just trying to expand across the northern border because, National Football League takes all.
Yes,
that's just how it does. I mean, it's the Browns moving to Baltimore and becoming the Ravens is part of the reason why the CFL team in Baltimore moved.
I think the last time the NFL actually had serious competition was the 80s.
Yeah.
With the USFL. If I'm not mistaken.
Serious competition?
Yeah,
not the
it
USFL.
actually challenged their ratings.
The last time they had serious competition was back in the 60s when the NFL and AFL were separate.
Yeah, true.
The USFL at least put up a fight, though, compared to XFL and
They did, but it's the equivalent.
They didn't make money though, If
It's
you're
the equivalent of us 6 right here.
I thought you were about to say AEW.
Us 5.
Versus WWE.
No, it's the equivalent of all 5 of us going to go play a pickup game against the Cavs. The Cavs suck, but they would destroy us.
And, I mean, this podcast is more profitable than the USFL was. I mean, they didn't make money, and if you wanna exist as an organization, you got to make money. So yeah, they did fine in the ratings. I understand that, but it never was really a threat to overtake the NFL.
No, what was their settlement checking in $2?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. It was almost a joke.
That league hemorrhaged money.
I think I understand what he's saying though. Like compared to the XFL and like because anything more modern that they've tried to pit up against the NFL has just been a joke.
Right. Anything they've tried to put up against the NFL has been squashed like a bug.
I think the smarter idea is to move in the direction like fan-controlled football went and just create something totally different than the NFL.
Or like
you're not going to compete with the NFL.
Or like the indoor football league.
Something different. You got to have some kind of different twist to it because you're never going to compete with the NFL in this country
the fan league I think already exists. I think Josh Gordon plays in it.
Yeah, well, he did play in it. Yeah, I know it exists. I was using it as an example of like if you're going to create another football league, just make it its own thing because you're not going to compete with the NFL.
I mean, Johnny Football also played.
I mean, they had some money, like powerful people behind the USFL. Wasn't Donald Trump?
Donald Trump brought the New Jersey Generals.
So I mean, talk about powerful people being behind it, and it didn't get anywhere. You know, so
part of the problem was that they started off as a spring league, smart idea.
Yeah.
And they played their first 2 seasons, and they were going to gradually grow their fan base, gradually grow and expand the league. Mm-hmm. Then Donald Trump shows up buying a team because the NFL was just like, we're never going to sell you a team because we don't like you. So his plan was to buy a USFL team and force a merger to get into the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And that never happened.
As we all know about all of his fantastic and great business practices and business successes, Taj Mahal and
pretty much anything he comes into falls apart.
Trump University, everything just turns into bankrupt.
Yeah, everything.
Yep. He bankrupted the USFL. And they got a settlement of $2 from the courts.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm looking at this article from ESPN about the Buffalo Bills, coming back to that, and it says the commissioner of 15 years said he has discussed the topic of the Bills Stadium nearly every time he travels to Buffalo, dating back to the 1990s, when the topic revolved more around renovation to their current stadium. Even then, Goodell said they knew renovations would only be a temporary fix, and the time would come when a new stadium was necessary.
So, a little bit of a media term here, localizing this national story. When was the Brown Stadium built?
1998,
technically.
Yeah.
So for an arena, would you say that's starting to get old?
The Browns, it's entering the extensive renovation talk, which they've already done.
Right.
It's entering the second era of renovations in probably about 5 to 10 years. But unfortunately, what we've seen in a lot of stadiums recently is that the lifespans on them are not very long. Like
I guess that's what I'm wondering.
You look down in Atlanta, the Braves played Turner Field for 20 years before they went to Truist Park.
All right.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the future of what an NFL stadium is, because what we're looking at is 5G in every NFL stadium. We're looking at having live betting in the stadiums. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like, is it old and falling apart and dilapidated? No. But like, the direction that stadiums are moving forward in, I think a new stadium's going to be required sooner than we think, maybe. If that makes sense.
For some of them, and one for as old as this one's about 50 years old. So this one was built at a time when stadium construction was done differently.
Right.
It was when you really didn't think anything like we have now is even on the horizon ever.
No.
And it's the way it was constructed, the way it was built was not way to adapt. It was, we're going to build this, it's going to be here for 100 years. Not, we're going to build this, we're going to need to make massive adjustments in 20.
And when the NFL started, you could, just like you said, they didn't know what was going to come. So when they, originally started the ideas of building the stadium, the idea of long-lasting structures made sense.
Yeah, it did.
We make a good point, because that's what I was trying to get to, is what's the lifespan? And if you're saying 20 years, they can definitely last longer than that. They're not dilapidated.
Look at Lambeau Field, for example. It's been up since at least 1970.
But every 20 years, it seems like technology takes another turn.
It does. Yeah.
And you got to get things caught up.
You do.
I think Lambeau's been around before that, but
1957.
Oh, so I was off by a few years.
Yeah, I mean, we know, look at the big house, the horseshoe. We know that a big stadium can last a very, very long time. We get that. But, the future of the NFL is going to be incorporating the fan experience in different ways, because, let's be honest, the product on TV is amazing. Watching an NFL football game at home is an amazing experience.
Yeah, it is.
So the NFL really has to get creative with what they're going to do in the future to bring people people in. And part of that's going to be the sideshow. It's not going to be about the football. It's going to be all the other stuff. I mean, as an old school football guy, like, I'm not really into all that, but that's the wave of the future, and that's the direction that we're going to have to head. And so in terms of, do I agree with Goodell? Absolutely. Good for him for saying that a new stadium is what's needed. It's actually one of the few things he's ever said that I think I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah.
I think it is needed, and if anybody deserves it, it's Buffalo.
And Chirk, you said Soldier Field.
That's an
1923.
Yeah, that's an asterisk.
They tore down the entire structure, they kept the field, and rebuilt that giant ugly stadium nobody likes in Chicago.
Yeah, and now the Bears are already talking about maybe building a new stadium in, I think it was Arlington Heights.
Yeah, it was Arlington Heights.
I like the line of thought Brian's going down, though, because, yeah, you invest money, but that is what's paying. You know, when you get these stadiums and you get those high-quality, high-production games, that's how you're able to pay these exorbitant salaries and everything else, you know.
Right.
So I know we're going to be talking a little bit more about this no longer in use stadium in our next segment, but back when I lived in Michigan, the Palace was built in such a way that they knew that they were going to have to adapt and make additions to the actual building. So they built the structure with the knowledge, knowing that we're going to have to make changes along the line, we're going to add things, we're going to have to change things. So they built it in a way that they added like multiple restaurants and different like kind of club areas and places to watch the game that wasn't actually inside the seating section.
Right.
So that's part of the, I guess, progression you've seen with stadium building from back when Highmark Field was made compared to when the Palace was, compared to anything new that's coming out.
Sure.
So I guess the question for like the Browns or anybody else is, when it comes to updating your stadium, how much can you do to where it just makes more sense to scrap it and make something new?
I mean, the Cavs just did a major renovation to what was then Quicken Loans Arena. Of course, it's now called Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
The morgue.
I don't get
Romo Fijo.
Why is it called a field house? It's not like we have a field.
Because apparently we're in Indiana now.
Yeah.
Romo Fijo.
Romo Fijo.
Romo Fijo.
Can we also call it the Rocket?
You can call it whatever you want.
I'm calling it the morgue because every time I watch the Cavs, I'm just watching a dead team.
Yeah. Well, I
accept that.
I go more to the field house more for Monsters games where they tend to win.
Yeah, I guess. But we need to head to a break. When we come back, we got some basketball discussion. But remember, during the break, that no one circles the wagon like the
Buffalo Bills.
Word.
Like Rodney Dangerfield, because Cleveland gets no respect. Oh well, welcome back to So What's the Catch?
There you go, Church.
I liked that.
Yeah, that one was really good.
All right, so welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland, and we are about to pay a salute to General Basketball.
General Basketball?
I hate that guy.
You bet him?
He's a jerk.
Oh, okay. So
he kicks around the Cavs all the time.
So we're going to start with Malice at the Palace, the documentary on Netflix. I watched it while I was on the treadmill because I like to do that.
Way to copy me. Okay, cool.
Hey, as long as it's being healthy, you can copy anyone.
Okay, was that a documentary about the Malice at the Palace, or was that an Indiana Pacers documentary? Okay. I'm confused.
I said it at the time, I'll say it again. It was a Pacers pity party. It was a triple P.
As a fan, I can say, like, because I'm not a fan of the sport, but as a fan of documentaries, I can say that I thought it was a good documentary. But you're definitely right. And I think what it is, I said this exact same thing a couple weeks ago, but what it is to me is that they could probably only get them to come on camera like that and be so candid by slanting it a certain way.
Absolutely.
I mean, I liked the guys they brought in with Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson, Meta World Peace, but at the time Ron Artest, and I think I'm missing one guy.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller, yep.
How can you forget Reggie Miller?
How can you forget Reggie? That's like the
I
most
don't
important.
know.
Even I know.
I feel like a moron now.
But
Oh yeah, Reggie Miller was like, I remember him. He was like on that scoreboard trying to help protect Ron Artest.
What?
Yeah,
something like
Back
that.
then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it had like funny moments, you know.
Yeah.
There was funny parts of the documentary. There was almost times when like they let what the players were saying be the joke itself.
Yeah.
Because it was like unironically funny.
Yeah.
You know, they meant what they were saying, but it was so ridiculous. But anyways, I thought it was a good documentary.
When I think about the personalities on that Detroit Pistons team too, I'm sure like in the production of this documentary, like they're not probably the easiest guys to get to comment and to play along or what have you.
Oh, they
There's a lot of
start
rough-
off the documentary with the one dude saying, "I will never talk about this again."
Right.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Right. So
Yeah, it was Steven Jackson.
So part of that, I think the Indiana slant may have had something to do with that, where the producers are like, okay, whatever, you know, these guys don't want to play along, you know,
I mean,
throw Indiana a bone.
I'd say it's worth watching, but just don't expect like a get both sides of the story
yeah,
from it.
Right.
it's worth watching, but I agree. You're getting a heavily biased
And if
film.
if you do watch it, skip 25 minutes ahead. You don't need all the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Just get to the game where they start fighting each other and playing.
Yeah.
was there any Pistons players in that documentary?
Ben Wallace for like
5 minutes.
Yep, for like
What'd he
5
say?
minutes.
Not really all that much. He pretty much just talked about like the moment that everything kind of like went to hell, but that's about it.
Yeah.
His participation was very limited.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was a pretty big part. Like he went into the stands too to
But his
get-
participation in the documentary was
Right,
limited.
Right. We're talking about
that's
strictly the
something that-
documentary.
Yeah. Okay. But
Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
they should have got more Pistons players in that documentary.
Yeah.
They should have had I know Larry Brown. They could have gotten him to talk about when he was on the mic, talking to the fans and all that.
Yeah.
I'd actually like to try like making a documentary at some point. So I guess I'm looking at it like from their side. You know,
Didn't we do that in the documentary class?
I mean, like a reel, you know,
Oh.
something I actually like put like a lot of work into, like,
Yeah.
you know, a year. And if you put like a year, it had great production, all that, but I see the criticism too. I understand what you're saying.
Fun fact: Rick Carlisle is back on the Pacers.
Yeah.
Even more fun fact, he used to coach that Pistons team they got in a fight with.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He did. Before that,
Little side note, they mentioned the in-stadium announcer. The guy's name is Mason, by
Yeah.
the way.
oh, I love Mason.
He's so good.
They showed a little bit of the intro. Let me tell you, I've gone to many Pistons games in my lifetime. Their intros during that era were absolutely electric.
I could get that just from the
You
show.
can just
yeah.
from the little thing when Ben Wallace comes out and he's just doing the big shoulder thing. Everyone got so hyped.
And I remember
did-
Mason specifically during Ben Wallace's intro, he would go, Ben Wallace.
And they had the gong too.
Yes.
And for Chauncey Billups, I remember they instead of saying point guard, they called him the point guy.
I also loved how
Remember that, James?
I don't remember that, but I will tell you something you
They
didn't
call him the
see.
point guy.
What
You didn't
year
see-
was this?
This is in the early
04?
2000s.
2004,
2004.
2005.
So this era, this probably lasts from 2002 to probably about 2008 or 9 or
So I was
something.
in high school, basically, just graduated in 2007.
And they didn't show this part during the documentary, but they had like this video production that they also had like the Cavs do here. But at the end, it was Ben Wallace with a giant sledgehammer just turning around and smashing the logo of the other team into a gajillion pieces. And they, the big fire things going off. They were like one of the first teams that incorporate like the big fire things coming out of the
Oh, really?
out of the baskets.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a person who watched the Malice at the Palace, like, as it was happening, like, I think part of the problem with the documentary, when you're covering something that was so shocking and electrifying and, like, just absolutely jaw-dropping and amazing, like, you're expecting the documentary to meet that expectation, you know?
Fair.
And it's really hard to live up to the hype surrounding the event because the event itself was such an electrifying, weird, crazy, bizarre event. And I think that part of like where the documentary may have fell flat is just like capturing that, what it was like in the moment and seeing that. It was just such a shocking thing to see, and I don't know that the documentary, could keep up that same level of intensity for an
That's
entire.
definitely fair.
Yeah.
I never watched it when it happened. I watched basketball back then, but I didn't watch, like, I probably only watched the Cavs, to be honest. But I don't but I remember the news, like, it happening. So for me to watch it, I actually enjoyed the history part of it because I didn't know all that, and I learned some things from it.
Yeah.
And then I got to see some of the parts of the game, and yeah, seeing it, like, happen and play out, I thought it was amazing. But again, I didn't see it live, so I can't compare it.
Right. So again, like Kramer, I also didn't see it live, but like I knew about it, everything. So yeah, like seeing the documentary and like hearing the background story, I liked that part of it. But again, it just felt so Indiana heavy. I'm like, I want to hear like from Rip Hamilton. I want to hear from Tayshaun Prince. I want to hear from
Rasheed Wallace.
Right, Rasheed Wallace. I want to hear from
the coaches.
The other thing too, though, is like those guys won though. Like those guys got their ring, you know, and like the Indiana guys, they're always going to be chasing that because they never quite got there. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason that the Pistons might just want to close the door on that entire conversation.
That's a good
because
point.
they have a history of winning. They were a great team in the early 2000s. They won a championship.
Should have won two.
Should have won two, and they deserve to be respected. And I think the Malice at the Palace is like such a stain on the organization and the team, and those guys probably just want to, look back on their legacies and think like, hey, I was a great basketball player. We had a great team, and we accomplished some awesome things.
Before Ron Artest at that point in time was suspended. I believe the league high suspension for non off
the court.
Yeah, off the court incidents. He was averaging like 24 points per game. I looked up his stats.
Reggie Miller was saying if that whole mess doesn't happen, Pacers had a great chance to win the title, and they really did.
They did, but it's easy to say,
It's easy to say.
If this would have happened, if that would have happened.
Yeah, there's so many ifs and, if this hadn't happened, but if this happened, yeah.
You know what's a more likely scenario? If Ben Wallace doesn't leave the Pistons after that year, that team wins another title. That's more likely than the Pacers winning.
The Cavs could have been champions 3 years in a row, but it didn't happen.
Ben Wallace did stay a season after that.
That season was his final season there.
No. 05-06. Then he went.
No, 05-06. I'm pretty sure he was with the Bulls.
No, it was 06-07. He was with the Bulls.
And
we have computers.
Yeah, we do have.
Yeah, we do have computers.
I'm confident in that one.
When I was in prison, that was one of the worst things. Like I got so used to Google, and then you go into prison, you start arguing with somebody, and inevitably somebody will be like, "Man, Google it."
While you guys are looking that up,
apparently Chirk was right, so congratulations, Chirk.
Yay, Chirk!
I know my basketball.
I count that as a point towards the quiz.
No.
No.
Veto.
Veto.
Since that Mouse in the Palace, the only thing that came close to that Mouse in the Palace was Nate Robinson versus J.R. Smith. That was the closest
thing.
thing.
Talking about, and I knew generally about Malice in the Palace, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
There was like a fight with the Knicks versus the Nuggets, and like I think it was like a couple years afterwards where like J.R. Smith tackled Nate Robinson into the fans.
I don't remember.
Just file that under random J.R. Smith incidents.
Right. Yeah.
Just put that
and
next
then
to
Carmelo
throwing
was
soup.
trying to go for a big punch.
Hey, shout out J.R. Smith. That dude's back in college, and he is going to be playing for, I believe it's North Carolina A&M's golf team.
That was A&T.
Wow.
That's great for
A&T,
him.
you're right, A&T.
But anytime I think of J.R. Smith, I can't get the picture out of my head of that dribble at the end of the game.
Not knowing.
Yeah, how do you not know?
Because I watched that live.
Yeah.
How do you not know the shot clock?
Honestly, that's not what I think of when I see
His issue wasn't the shot clock. His issue was the score.
Right.
The first.
Yeah, you're right.
He was confused on the
The
score.
first thing I think of J.R. Smith is that buzzer beater shot when he had it with the Knicks where he like did that.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
AJ's
here in the building.
Slinking in.
Yes.
Got AJ in the building.
AJ is slinking his way in like an anaconda.
He's got snacks too. I got yelled at for my snacks when I came.
What snacks you got there?
These are some granola bars called Better Bars.
How you doing?
What are they better than?
Everything.
Okay.
Probably better for you than combos.
We yelled at you about the combo.
Do we want to mention the schedule release too? NBA release?
Yeah, the NBA schedule just got released. Any intriguing games for you right off the bat?
Christmas games. And
Yeah, I think that Christmas, maybe we could talk about just the Christmas Day games because it's hard to pinpoint like individual games with a 82-game season.
Well, I can. How do you feel about the Bucks opening their season against the Nets? Do you like that? Or
Makes sense to me.
yeah, it makes
that
perfect
makes sense
sense
to
to me.
I would have done it against the Hawks.
Not if you want people to
You want people to watch it, you go Bucks Nets. But we can come back to this at a different time. We have to head to a commercial. We come back. We're going to be talking Draft Bus and, of course, everyone's favorite segment.
Draft Bus.
This is So What's the Catch? Your home for the random Cleveland athlete of the week on All Sports Cleveland.
No. That's the right one.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention to your show rundown. It's right in front of you.
All right. Well,
Too bad we're not allowed to bring notes.
I know.
As the bumper said.
And yeah, we're gonna get to that at the end of this. But first, we're starting off with
Draft Bus.
Draft Bus.
Yay, I love
We-
this topic.
We talked about this off mic, so I'm like, let's make it an actual topic for this week.
So, biggest draft bust in your opinion in the NBA ever?
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett.
As a Cavs fan, I mean, it's easy to go there. Darko's up there.
what's the guy that got drafted?
Michael.
How about Greg Oden?
How about
Sam Bowie?
Yeah.
Oloakandy?
Michael Olowokandi had a long career.
No, come on.
Oh, come on, me.
Come on.
See, I suggested.
Don't do that.
I suggested Greg Oden the other day, and he automatically poo-pooed me.
Because of his injuries, I guess.
I'm taking Greg Oden out because for a bust, I want you to be healthy and just completely suck.
Okay, if that's
so
that's
then
a distinction, I
it's
take him
down
out of it.
It's down to three people then, really. It's going to be down to not Greg Oden, Darko. Mm-hmm. It's going to be down to
Anthony Bennett.
Anthony Bennett.
We're talking NBA.
Yes, and Hashim Thabit.
I was about to say Hashim
Wait,
Thabit.
what about OJ Mayo?
What about
OJ Mayo played long enough. He wasn't great,
Yeah,
but
he had
played
an
long
okay
enough.
career. He made his money.
what about Mama's Cooking?
Did you say
Kwame Brown.
Okafor played a minute for the Bobcats back when they were the Bobcats.
Did Kwame Brown play
R.I.P.
for like 12 years?
Yeah, I think
Kwame Brown had a long career too,
Yeah,
so it's hard to.
Wait, when you say Okafor, do you mean Emeka Okafor?
Jaleel.
Oh.
Hasn't he had injury issues too?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mecca did.
But he was chosen fairly early. Was supposed to be a big prospect.
Or
and
How about Bargnani?
Okay.
Adam Morrison?
Tyrus Thomas. That's a bad one.
I think we need to
How
like.
about Sebastian Telfair?
Ooh, that was
AJ, who you got?
Yeah.
There's a lot on this list.
Yeah.
I think we need to narrow this list down.
No, we don't. We're just throwing out names right now, and then we can all settle on one name.
There's been a lot of busts.
You forgot
I mean,
about Derek Williams, Jan Vesely.
Yeah, I mentioned Telfair because Sebastian Telfair had a Sports Illustrated cover as a high school basketball player. He was like the first one since LeBron that they gave a cover as SI. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was so much hype around him, and I mean, he just fizzled out. He played for a couple years, had some. I mean, he didn't do anything though. His career is not worth noting anything.
I'll tell you this: we don't have to say it yet, but we might, disagree on who the NBA bust is. I can almost guarantee we all agree on who the biggest NFL bust is.
We'll see about that.
I don't know
Ryan
about that.
Lee.
There's a lot out there.
I said, don't say it.
We'll see about that.
So, the way I'm looking at it for the NBA ones is that they had to be drafted at a certain spot. Yeah, Telfair was hyped up, but he's drafted 13th.
That's true. That's a fair point.
You look at guys like Milicic 2, The Beat 2.
The Beat was drafted over James Harden. The Beat's definitely on this list.
LaRue
Anthony
Martin
Bennett was one overall.
Anybody?
So I think it comes down to one of those three, really.
Anthony Bennett.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Anthony
I
Bennett.
can get behind Anthony Bennett, honestly.
Because he was drafted #1 overall, and then
That was a disappointment. I
he
remember
did
that
nothing.
That was a weird year
I would
for
put
the draft, though.
I would put Darko in there just because of the fact he was drafted before Melo, Wade, and Bosch.
Do you want to go through the list of people that Bennett was drafted ahead of?
It was Oladipo, Otto Porter. Heck, I would even take Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Trey Burke over them. And even Alex Len. I'll put Alex Len in there.
What?
Alex Len, but anyways.
I'll take him over
take him out.
Bennett.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying.
Keep in Trey Burke, take him out.
Would you put Dragan Bender? That's the one that we haven't said yet. Dragan Bender, I would also put in
All-time great name.
One of the biggest busts of all time in the NBA, Dragan Bender.
So I think we're pretty much, it's basically Anthony Bennett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
Dragan
there's some
Bender?
old, obscure #1 picks like LaRue Martin in 1972. There was some really great players in that draft behind him.
I remember watching those games when I was -16.
Yeah. But if we're going based off of #1 picks, he's one that's worth mentioning.
So NFL, there are plenty of names you could think of. Tony Mandrick,
Jamarcus Russell,
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf's my number one.
Johnny Manziel.
No.
My top two are quarterbacks, and what I'm curious though, I want to know everybody's top one for the Browns biggest bust, because my next number 2 overall plus my biggest bust for the Browns would be Tim Couch.
Tim Couch, really?
I disagree.
To me, he's a bust.
I think that.
What?
I said what
How?
I said.
He took us to the playoffs.
Yeah, and then what?
That was like an assisted suicide, though. That was euthanasia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He got destroyed by not having an offensive line.
To Couch's credit, he had no offensive line to
none.
So
I'm not saying it's his
system-
fault either.
Here's the thing with Tim Couch. Him and David Carr fall into the same problem, and that they were drafted by expansion teams with crap rosters.
Right.
So I have a hard time putting either guy into a bust category, even though statistically and historically they weren't good.
When I get down to what a bust is, it means that you had expectations for somebody, and they didn't meet those expectations.
Okay.
I feel like we had some big expectations for Tim Couch, especially after that playoff season, but because of the situation he was in, it didn't work out.
Okay, but here's the thing. Cleveland has been known for a while as the place where quarterbacks go to die.
Exactly.
So
Trent Richardson there's a lot of hype around that draft pick.
Right.
I thought that he was going to transform the running game.
I can't say he was a Cleveland bust though, because he was good with us.
Josh might not remember this because he wasn't. How old were you in 2002?
I was 2.
6.
I was like 5 or 6.
But at the time, like, there was a lot of expectations.
There was a ton. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I don't disagree with you.
It's just I have a hard time because
you literally disagreed with me.
I see where you're coming from, like expectations and failing to live up to them. I just have a hard time putting expansion draft quarterbacks into that list for me. But
so that's still the question. It's the same though. I want to know who everybody's biggest Browns bust is. If it's not Couch, who is it?
Justin Gilbert.
Yeah, that's a big.
I would say Justin Gilbert.
That's a good one of recent memory.
All right.
Yeah.
No, not Colt McCoy.
No, I wasn't going to say.
Who was that running back who was really good for us?
William Green.
Trent Richardson.
William Run. No,
I feel like he was a pretty big bust.
Not for
He
us.
said Trent Richardson earlier.
First of all, I want to dispute that. Trent Richardson had close to 1,000 yards with the Browns.
1,000 yards means nothing.
Great job! Yay!
For us means he could have fit with us.
And then he was put on Madden, and he completely fell apart.
Once he went to Indiana, yeah.
Indianapolis, you mean?
Here's the problem with Trent Richardson, okay? He had this problem in college. No one just wanted to admit it, okay?
He had a good offensive line.
There's that, but he has no vision. He has perpetual blinders on, okay? He can only see what's directly in front. Don't shake your head at me.
Nah, someone left a comment down here saying Cavs are going to be 11th seed, and I just shook my head. That was all.
That's generous, because they're not even going to get to anything close to that.
Yes, they are.
I can remember Trent Richardson and people
we're not going
thinking,
down this again.
No, we're not going down that road.
Yeah, but Trent Richardson.
I can remember people thinking he was going to be a big deal.
Here's the thing: is that at the time, even after he had his good season, Jim Brown said he was no good. Everyone should have listened to Jim Brown. Okay?
Yes.
Listen to Jim Brown.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But here's another name I'll put up for not necessarily Browns draft bust, but just general draft bust. RG3.
RG3 was a bust.
Yep.
Yeah,
not by
he's bust all around.
He was bust by injury though, not by
yeah,
by
but
talent.
that's
Not by
injury.
talent.
I'm not like just because I'm saying somebody's a bust doesn't mean I'm saying it's necessarily their fault.
But injury or not, you're still a bust.
Exactly. So it could be injury. It could be a situation.
Bust.
RG3.
Okay. You top
My
NFL?
top overall.
Yeah.
Ryan Leaf.
I'm just going with Trent.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. I'm changing to Jamarcus
Of all
Russell.
time, I like Ryan Leaf all time.
Chirk.
Yeah. There's a lot of names in the bust list, but I think I might have to go with, of recent memory, Blake Bortles.
It's any
Blake
Okay,
Bortles.
fine.
Okay.
Ryan Leaf.
I'm
Mortal
changing
service.
to Jamarcus.
Well,
I'm
Bortles
changing.
was a bust.
Okay.
I'm changing to Jamarcus Russell.
Okay. It is. Random
Oh, that's a
Cleveland.
good one, actually.
That is a good one. Random Cleveland
Jake
athlete
Walker.
of the week time. All right. It's got basketball player. So Cavs.
All right, we got a Cavs one.
All
right.
He was born in January 30th, 1982 in Senegal.
Senegal.
Oh.
It's Dejana Yup.
Sagana Job.
Sagana
Sagana Job.
Yup.
It's
That one was
Sagana.
easy.
Sagana
That was
Job.
Sagana.
Should he get a quiz point for that?
He
'Cause
was
that
in the
was
NBA
quick.
Finals.
I was the first one to say it right, so I think the point goes
I
to
think
me.
Brian should get
He-
that because he actually said the name correctly.
But did you know the answer?
Sagana Job, yeah, Senegal.
Yeah.
That's
Like
the
if he wouldn't have said anything.
How many
Yup.
Senegalese basketball players have there
Yeah,
ever been?
I don't
right.
know.
You know, that's the
There's,
only reason it
yeah,
stood
I
out to
would-
me.
I never would
There's
have got it.
DJ Mbinga
I think that was a giveaway.
from the Lakers.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say Ilgauskas. I don't know.
If Chirk hadn't said it, I would.
Ilgauskas.
Ilgauskas.
He's from Lithuania.
We hear
Yeah.
you, Josh.
Yeah,
Chirk wouldn't have said it. You would have.
exactly.
I wanted to see. I figured Senegal might be a giveaway, but I wanted to see how good you guys had of retention of birthplaces, because it's not necessarily all that common.
I mean, I just remember Dejana Yup. He used to he was like the backup center when the Mavericks went to the finals and
2006,
to
yeah.
Eric Dampier.
Where is Senegal?
Senegal-
Africa.
It's on the
It's in, like,
West Coast.
Central Africa. No, I thought it was in Central.
No, it's on the West Coast.
Oh, it's on the West Africa.
Yeah.
So that was Random Cleveland Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, that was really
very
quick.
And
Yeah.
geography lessons.
Oh yeah, and geography lessons featuring Chirk.
Fun fact,
Country.
the Gambia
Of the
exists within that country.
Yes.
Oh, another
It's Nigeria.
geography fun fact.
We definitely jumped to that because we thought it was going to take longer, and then just
we are-
chirked it without even meaning to. But then everybody said they would have had it. So
Yeah, so I mean, to be fair, we only had like a couple minutes left of this little segment here, so it was just all right that it went like that.
I got a good random Cleveland.
All right, you probably get about like 30 seconds.
So the 10th pick in the 2004 draft,
What sport?
basketball.
2004?
Yeah.
For the Cavs?
Yep.
it's a Cleveland athlete.
10th pick overall.
I was 4.
Is that Verja?
Nope.
Give a hint real quick.
Position.
He was a small forward or shooting guard. He might have been a combo guard.
Larry Hughes.
Or not a combo guard, swingman. He was a swingman. No, it wasn't Larry Hughes.
Oh, Daniel Gibson.
We drafted him, and no, it wasn't Daniel Gibson. He was in the second
He said
round.
forward, then guard.
Well, we're up against the break
Yeah.
now, so
It was Luke Jackson.
all right.
Okay
I
then.
never would have got that. Let's go to a break,
That
though.
was 4.
Who's under so much pressure that they might just get cooked? And who's under the least amount of pressure? It's time to find out with the pressure scale here on So What's the Catch on All Sports Cleveland.
Welcome you live.
Very,
We are
very
not
well
live
done,
at whatever
yeah.
bar that was.
We are
but
live.
We are here live every Wednesday from 2 to 4.
I like that, Josh. By the
Listen
way.
to
Yeah,
us.
that was great.
So yeah, it is time for the pressure scale. Under pressure. No.
Ding, 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 ding,
Who sings that song?
Yeah, do you know who sings that song?
Who sings that
Yeah,
song?
who sings that song?
Shit. I think it's Queen.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way.
And Bowie.
I stole the beat and made Ice Ice
Yeah.
Baby.
Anyway,
All right, so who are we doing?
so we have 2 divisions for this week, as we did last week, and we are starting with the AFC East. So who wants to give their ranking first? AFC East.
Trying to remember the quarterbacks. We got Zach Wilson, Cam Newton,
Or Mac Jones.
Tua, and
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
So who wants to go
Just
first?
a reminder, we're talking about pressure. Who's under the most pressure going into this season?
Yes.
Correct.
Ranking them 4 to 1 or 1 to 4, however you want to do it.
So can I go first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Chirk.
So the first one is the most pressure, right?
1 is the most pressure, 4 is the least amount of pressure. Correct.
I'll start off with 1, and that is Cam Newton.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2, I'll have to say ooh.
I thought you were ready to go.
Yeah, it's harder than you thought.
Yeah.
No, I just overthink it. I would say number 2.
Thank,
there's
overthink.
The Bills, there's the
Overthink.
Dolphins, and the who else besides the Patriots on that? Sorry. I got. Okay, I'll skip number 2. I'll say at number 3 is Tua. Number 4 is Josh Allen.
So 2 is Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Okay, why?
I'll just have to say
He's just feeling it.
All right.
I just feeling it because he's a rookie and Tua has at least proven some stuff already.
All right.
Interesting theory.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. I'll make this real quick. Most pressure, Tua.
Yep.
Second most, I have Josh Allen. Third, Cam Newton. Fourth, Zach Wilson. He's a rookie. Their expectations should be low because he's a rookie and plays for the Jets.
Why would you put Tua up that high?
Because, in case you forgot, like this entire offseason, even though he's battled with legal issues, the Dolphins have been linked to Deshaun Watson. Okay, there was even discussions of possibly drafting a quarterback in this past draft. They don't know if Tua is actually any good, and I don't think he actually is.
Should they bring back Josh Rosen?
No.
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 Do you want to get worse?
Yeah.
You don't know. You could have something.
Josh Rosen's been on 5 teams in 3 years.
He's now he just recently signed with Atlanta. So
Kirk has a thing for the underdogs.
he does.
It's not underdogs. It's
Just bad players. But I was trying to make
Players.
it.
Okay.
Trying
Anyway.
to say it in a nicer way.
Yeah. So you have. So you let me get this straight. You have
Tua's 1.
2 is 1.
Josh Allen's 2.
I thought you had Zach Wilson. Okay. Josh Allen 2. Zach Wilson 3. Cam Newton 4.
No, Cam Newton's 3. Zach Wilson's 4.
Okay. Got it.
We need to get a big board.
We do.
We got one here in the Berserk box.
Now
That don't help us out.
He
That-
can help us here.
yeah, that doesn't help.
Not that type of board, like a whiteboard.
Anyway, so we got Church's top
Right here.
4.
Next week, I'll get a marker and eraser.
So we have Church's top 4. We have James's top 4. Who wants to go next?
I'm gonna just piggyback off James's.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
James, give me yours one more time. I was so
Okay,
lost.
1, Tua. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Cam Newton. 4, Zach Wilson.
All right.
Which
That's pretty much where I'm at too. The only ones that I could see, like even the possibility of switching them around, would be Josh Allen or Tua, and that would just be like, Tua. It depends. It just because you say they're linked to Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah.
But do you really think Deshaun Watson's going to end up playing anymore?
Probably not. I'm just saying that it's more about.
Do you think
I'm looking at his job security.
Right.
It seems like he has a very loose grasp on having that job past this season.
Yeah.
Unless he shows that he's really actually good.
Yeah.
And his contract's up after the season?
All right. So Brian.
No.
No, I didn't know.
No, he's ever.
I'd say it's virtually the same. I'm going to put Josh Allen 1, though, just because I think that team is ready to win a Super Bowl now. I think that he's set such a high bar, but, he had an amazing season last year. What were they, 13-3?
Something AFC Championship game.
Yeah, so I'm going to put him ahead of Tua. I think Tua's playing for the future of his career. I don't think that they think he's the guy. But I don't think he's under as much pressure as Josh Allen, just because I already think that, I don't know, for me, I just don't think Tua's that good. I don't think he's going to be that good. I don't think the Dolphins think that he's going to be that good. So I think that the book's almost been closed on him already.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But for the rest of it, yeah, Zach Wilson last.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking too, is just that Josh Allen is definitely the one who, it's more pressure right now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So yeah, I think I'll go with that.
So I have Tua 1, Josh Allen 2, I have Zach Wilson 3, and then Cam Newton 4. Because Zach, when you get drafted number 2 overall into a market like New York, I think that automatically puts pressure on you.
Yeah, but Cam was the number 1 pick.
Yeah, but now he's playing in New England. So with
Boston, it's one of the biggest markets in the country.
That's true.
I mean, the way I say it, he's a rookie. The expectations for him are really kind of low. Okay?
I mean, I think
Cam
everybody.
Newton's also someone fighting for his job as well.
Yeah.
They drafted Mac Jones.
Yeah, but
right.
This is Cam's second year in the system, so I think that puts a little bit more pressure on him.
Well, I think everybody outside of Boston knows that the Patriots probably won't be good for a while, but Boston fans don't want to hear that.
No, they think they're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
this
they
year.
want.
Really do.
They're expecting the team to be good every year. Period.
Right.
I mean, the Patriots did go out and spend a ton of money, and they think they can get into the playoffs, and many quote unquote experts think that they are going to make the playoffs.
Listen, don't doubt Bill Belichick ever.
And I think that's why everybody is still keeping them to somebody to watch.
I'm not saying they're going to be good. I'm not going to say they're bad. It's just I'm keeping my eye out on New England.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind making the hot take that the Patriots are going to be bad for a while.
Bill Belichick's still got that Eddie Guerrero mentality to them.
Okay, so we are going to move on
I
to...
know what you're talking about. Anyways, keep going.
No, like how he says, lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan, and I don't even know what you're talking about.
I know who Eddie Guerrero is, but who are we going to next?
So next division is the NFC South.
So Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, and
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
This is a hard one.
All right, so
I'll go first on this one. Most pressure, Sam Darnold. Why? Because he sucks. 2, I'm going to go Jameis Winston. 3, Matt Ryan. 4, Tom Brady.
Wait, we already did this one, I think.
No, we did.
2 weeks ago.
No.
NFC South.
We haven't done NFC South yet.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, the only one we had done was
AFC North.
Yeah.
But,
So to recap, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady.
okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jameis number 1, Sam Darnold 2, Matt Ryan 3, Tom Brady 4.
I'm going to go Jameis number 1. And then the rest of them, I'm going to follow suit with that.
Okay. What are you doing over there?
So it seems like overall people are just saying that you don't think Tom Brady's under pressure.
No. He's got 7 Super Bowls and he just won one.
Yeah, he just won.
I know, and I'm overthinking it like you do for a radio show, but my just thought is okay, if you put all that aside, just thinking of this season, you still say he's not under pressure.
Yeah, because think about it. He came into a completely new system with Tampa Bay last year. Had to get acclimated to a whole new coach, a whole new set of offensive linemen, wide receivers, the whole 9 yards. And what does he do? He goes out and wins a Super Bowl.
I know,
Right.
but that's why I think maybe there's expectations for him to come back and repeat again.
Yeah, that's true,
because
because
on a win.
They're returning all 11 starters on that offense, so
That's true.
To play into what you're saying, I could see where there is some pressure on him. I mean, what would happen if, say, this team stumbles out of the gates and they don't make the playoffs? What does that say about Tom Brady's legacy? Does it affect it negatively at all? Because if it does, then yeah, Tom Brady is under a little bit of pressure to preserve, because let's be real, Tom Brady wants to be the best player of all time.
Well, here's a question to branch off that. If he doesn't win another Super Bowl and retires, do you see that as a stain on his career?
No.
No.
I'm a Tom Brady stan, so I'm almost just taking myself out of the equation. but I don't.
I don't think most people would, but I think there are some.
I think he could go 0-17 and he could throw 40 picks.
But I'm just devil's advocate, trying to think of where this pressure's at with it.
But he already has stains on his resume, like, you know, everything with the Patriots, Deflategate, Spygate. He might not have been directly involved with, like, say, Spygate, but because he was around during that time with the Patriots, I would say it's a little bit of a stain on his career.
When it comes to pressure, though, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, I think I agree with that list.
But the reason
you convinced me.
The reason I have Jameis 1 over Sam Darnold, even though I do see where you're coming from, is because you're trying to replace an absolute legend in Drew Brees. Somebody, I will say that before Tom Brady went on his run this season, I was trying to vouch that Drew Brees was actually the GOAT over Tom Brady.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
But
would you say Tom Brady surpassed Montana?
He already did.
Yes,
like 5 years ago.
Long ago.
I mean,
I'd say that. I'm not even a big Tom Brady fan.
I didn't watch football and I say that.
Once Tom Brady led the Buccaneers not only to the Super Bowl, but actually winning it with the Buccaneers, that's what convinced me that he's the GOAT.
That did not 28-3.
No.
Not 28-3.
The comeback.
The biggest comeback in the history.
28-3.
No.
That's the real answer.
Yeah, that was.
Stop saying no. That's the real answer.
That did not convince me. No, it did not.
You're crazy.
Did you miss the game?
You're mad.
Did you not watch it?
No, I did watch the game.
Name a better performance in the Super Bowl by anyone ever.
I could say Nick Foles.
Trent Dilfer.
Ben Wallace, everybody.
With that, we gotta head to a break, and we're gonna head to hour 2. A reminder, hour 2 is where things get weird.
Great way to start.
Hour 2 on So What's the Catch is when things get weird. Here on All Sports Cleveland.
Where are you going, Josh? Hour 2. We're already starting off weird. We're 1 second into it. But this is hour 2, so what's the catch? Things get weird, and I will allow the combat sports individuals here to discuss.
Yeah, this is where you were saying off mic, you're like, I'm going to go use the bathroom break during this time.
That's exactly what we're going to do, because I have zero contributions.
I was just
He's
about
gonna
to
go get Chipotle again.
Yeah,
I was just about to use a bathroom break, and then you called me back in.
I'm going to go get another big-ass burrito and eat it.
I mean, it's your segment. You gotta be here. Take it away.
All right, so we start off with Manny Pacquiao against Ugas. I'm not even going to try to say his first name.
Jordanis.
I did not watch this pay-per-view, but I heard Ugas won, I think you said by unanimous decision?
Yes.
Yes, it was a unanimous decision, yep.
So did you guys watch the pay-per-view?
I watched the pay-per-view. I guess I'll start. Yeah, I did. Pacquiao threw a lot. He just wasn't connecting with a lot. Ugas was definitely the more convincing fighter. His punches were landing cleaner. He was landing at a way higher percentage. But I would say for the beginning of the fight, it looked like Pacquiao. I would say Pacquiao maybe won 3 out of the first 4 rounds, potentially. But then by the end of the fight, you could just tell that Pacquiao's punches were not hurting Ugas. And the counter punching that Ugas was doing was very effective. And at the end of the fight, I was surprised to see it was a unanimous decision just because of how much Pacquiao threw and his history being an 8-division champ and all of that. So I think that the judges did an awesome job scoring this fight because I do think that Ugas won convincingly.
It was a good fight. I think Ugas just came out. He was a smarter fighter that night. He just outboxed Pacquiao, knew what to do, knew how to defend himself and when to throw, and it helped him a lot. Pacquiao is a legend in his own right, but I'm gonna just say Ugas did his thing that night. He performed and showed why he is the champion.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and also coming in on short notice too. You know, for him to step up and face a legend like he did,
and defend his title too.
Exactly, and we to remember too that title was given to him because of inactivity by the title holder, and this was his chance to say, "Hey, this belt is mine."
Yeah.
Whether they were going to give it to me or not, I was going to take it from Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And I think that was really what Ugas ended up saying with his performance.
So, I did not watch the pay-per-view, but I've watched a lot of post-fight stuff, and analysts are saying left and right, like, is that Pacquiao should retire?
Where's my burrito?
Where? I thought you were going to
buy burrito.
Where's my burrito?
It's an interesting
Simpsons reference. Come on, sorry.
I think it's an interesting discussion to be had about Pacquiao retiring. I mean, just like I said, he's the only 8 division champ of all time. I mean, he's a legend. Can he continue to box at that level where he's going to continue to win championships in multiple divisions? No, I think that Manny Pacquiao is gone. But with the output that he put, he threw a lot that fight. I want to say he threw at least 3 times as many punches as Ugas. Mm-hmm. So he was out there throwing, and he didn't look like he was all that hurt throughout the fight. So, I mean, he's still good enough to compete at a high level, but I don't think that he's good enough to be Manny Pacquiao anymore. So it depends what he's looking for. If he wants to be a champ, then yeah, maybe he should retire, because I don't think that that's reasonable at this point. But if he wants to continue to compete, stay in good shape, make his money, I think that he could do that for a while, maybe go 500 in some of these fights.
I think he should just retire. I feel like he should retire after his last fight. I don't want to see him go out on a loss. I'm not the biggest Pacquiao fan, but I am a fan of boxing.
I honestly thought that Pacquiao should have retired after that Horn fight with the Australian.
I think he got robbed in that fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot closer than this fight was, but I felt worse about Manny's future then than I do now. I think that he did a nice job bouncing back from that decision that he ended up losing, and went on to prove that he still did have something left in his tank. So yeah, he proved me wrong once. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't want to close the book on him. But if you're asking me, do I think he'll ever win another belt? No.
How about Pacquiao versus one of the Paul brothers?
No. I think he's too much of a...
Yeah, that would be...
I hope not.
He won't do that.
So, what did you guys think of CM Punk coming back to wrestling?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
I wasn't expecting that when I was watching.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he'll just be basically just telling the truth and on every single promo.
He's going to be making his in-ring return on the September 5th all-out pay-per-view for AEW, which I am 100% watching because it is going to be an amazing card. I'm not going to run through all the matches right now.
Who is he going against?
Darby Allin.
Okay.
And he's going to have to deal with Sting because Darby Allin is associated with Sting. But speaking of wrestling, we had WWE SummerSlam, which is also in Vegas. And it was a good pay-per-view, but Sasha Banks had to be taken out of the SmackDown Women's Championship match against Bianca Belair due to health reasons. I'm guessing COVID, but I don't know for sure. So they had the Man, Becky Lynch, return, and she literally squashed Bianca Belair in like 26 seconds.
Wait, her nickname's the Man?
I caught that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a cool nickname.
It came around in like 2019 because she was getting so much love, and like she just took on this persona. I think WWE was actually trying to make her a heel, and it just didn't work.
Females in combat sports have the coolest nicknames.
They do.
Always do.
Jessica Evil Eye.
Yeah.
Cyborg. Chris Cyborg. That's actually her last name.
The Bullet.
Yeah.
Valentina Shevchenko.
Yep.
If your last name's Cyborg, you pretty much have to get into combat sports.
Yep. But in her
become a cyborg.
But,
or that.
Although Chris Cyborg in her last fight in the UFC, she got destroyed by Amanda the Lioness Nunes.
Also a good nickname.
Yes. But we have a big boxing match this weekend at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Romo Fijo.
Depends on what you consider.
Yeah.
Big boxing match. Wouldn't say that.
Because we don't get combat sports here in Cleveland that often. So that's why I'm saying it's big.
It's definitely something that'll bring publicity to Cleveland, but is it good publicity?
Now, we'll
let's do our group predictions. Jake Paul or Tyron Woodley?
Tyron Woodley.
Let somebody else go first.
Woodley. Woodley.
You're taking Woodley, Church.
I know nothing about this, but I'm going Woodley just because I don't like Jake Paul.
And Jake Paul, I hope gets booed in his hometown.
I don't like Jake Paul, but I've seen this happen too many times now that I'm going to go with Jake Paul.
Yeah.
This way, I'm in a win-win situation because if he loses, I'm going to be happy.
I was going to pick the same way for the same exact reasons. I don't like the kid. I don't want him to win. I love Tyron Woodley too. I think he had a great UFC career, but the end of his career, man, it ended badly. He got,
blasted.
Yeah, he didn't look great. So it's not like he's coming into this fight at the peak of his, fighting career. He's not. He's on the other end of it.
Yeah.
So you've got a guy who's, say what you want about Jake and Logan Paul, but those dudes live in the gym. The last 2 years they have been training for that's all they've been doing.
Yeah, Logan Paul was just on Monday Night Raw.
It means more to Jake Paul. It's in his hometown. I honestly think he's going to win a knockout. I don't think it's going to last that long. But like Jeremy said, if Woodley wins, then hooray. I'm glad that he won. But
you think Jake Paul will be booed in his hometown?
Yes.
Yes. He's away any place he goes. Where across the world.
I disagree with everybody in the group though that said that this isn't a big boxing match. It's a huge fight.
It is.
We got to remember that boxing is called prize fighting, and the prize in this fight is huge.
Right.
What it's about is the attraction, and what is the attraction going to bring to the city? It's going to bring people, obviously, so it's good for the economy for a weekend. But this is a gigantic fight, whether we like either one of the fighters or we think that it's serious or that we think that either one of them belongs in a boxing ring. The fact of the matter is that someone's going to make millions of dollars and millions of people are going to tune in and watch.
Right.
I respectfully disagree.
You don't think millions are going to tune in and watch?
No. I respectfully disagree with your whole point.
Okay.
Because I think it's going to be big for Cleveland. I don't think it's big for boxing. I don't think boxing even wants to acknowledge the whole Jake Paul sideshow.
It's on Showtime now, though. He moved from Triller to Showtime.
It's a Showtime pay-per-view.
But this whole time, and I could be wrong. I'm not real up to date with this.
Sure.
But when I have seen responses from people in the industry, they're not positive. They're not like, oh, we love this Jake Paul thing. It's mostly like, no, I don't put that away from us.
It's like the WWE doing the brawl for all a little bit.
No, there is another side to this. There's a lot of boxing purists that love the Jake and Logan Paul thing because it's got young people in this country talking about boxing and wanting to join gyms and fight. In America, we have the best athletes in the world. If we could get more of them to want to box, to think about some of the great fighters that could come because of Jake Paul and Logan Paul bringing all these people to the sport that never would have watched it, never would have gave it the time of day. Let's be real. Boxing hasn't been attractive probably since the 90s when Tyson was huge. That's the last time that boxing really had gigantic buzz around it. With Wilder and Fury, now it's getting better with the heavyweights.
90s even had Roy Jones Jr.
Right, the 90s were amazing for boxing. It was great, but up until recently, we haven't had a good heavyweight, name until this, Fury and them up there now.
Right.
Maybe the tide's turning, because when we first talked about this back in March, when this was first starting to go on, to me it was all looked at like a joke.
It was. I think it was until he won a couple fights and showed that, look, boxing is a sport that you have to take seriously. If you don't take it seriously, you're going to get your butt beat.
So I'm going to put a little bit of a different spin on this. And we've talked about this on the show a little bit, about how, the UFC came to Cleveland once for Stipe's first title defense, and it hasn't been back since. This is another, whether you like Tyron Woodley or Jake Paul or not, it's another big combat sports event in Cleveland.
Right.
The last time we had one, I'm not counting WWE, sorry, I just don't, even though I watch WWE a little bit, you like to give me crap about it, Mr. James.
Well, that's because you said you were never going to watch it again.
Yeah, you
left that part out.
Here's what happens every weekend, every during the week after Monday. He says, "I'm not going to watch Raw again." What happens when we come in on Tuesday? Oh, I watched Raw last night. I hated it.
You got to tell the whole story.
Yeah. So you say you're not going to do something, but you flip flop and you do it anyways. But with that,
You liar.
liar. But we gotta head to a break. When we come back, we're gonna have some Browns talk, everyone's favorite topic of conversation on this show.
Hey, it's Chirk the Berserker. You're in the Berserk box being a hard worker. We got James. Guess what? He knows all the names. Just sit back and relax. You got Unger to the max. This show will never get any lamer, because you can't find anybody as entertaining as Kramer. Now, AJ, he is the true fighter. You'll never meet anybody who is a better writer. In this show, you don't have to worry about lying, because we got a champ, and his name is Brian. Join us every Wednesday at 2 for authentic personalities, because you know, all we'll just be dishing out is just the realities.
Chirk, that was such a great bumper. You were like the white vanilla ice.
You are so good over there, Chirk. So welcome.
Spoken word poetry.
I'm not as fake as
No, it's like spoken word poetry.
And you're
Def Jam.
You say that as you're sitting over there eating your combos.
Yeah, I don't even know why I'm still eating.
But welcome back to So What's the Catch here on All Sports Cleveland as we salute to General Football.
General Football.
I love that we do that every time on the show now. It's great. And you
know where I got that from?
Well, I took the salute to you.
I'm sure you do.
Yep.
I took it from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
James?
Be from a show called How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
It's one of the many gags on there.
Very good show.
So, Kramer, you have some Bleacher Report article about some bold predictions for the Browns.
Yeah, I've been seeing all kinds of articles along these lines, big predictions for the Browns, and I just wanted to talk about this one in specifics, and more than that, though, I want to see what you guys think and where you would put your expectations at.
Sure.
Okay.
But the big predictions, they say Myles Garrett will lead the league in sacks.
Yes.
I think that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Decent.
The Browns will have a top 3 offense.
Yes.
I'm not quite ready to say that.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Super Bowl, Super Browns.
And that's what worries me when people say stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
get scared.
I knocked on the wood.
We didn't hear it.
Yeah.
It's not even so much about jinxing as much as it is about Baker Mayfield and his personality. But
Yeah.
going on, the Browns will play in the AFC Championship game.
Yes.
Maybe.
This is my hope.
I'm on the fence with this one.
This is definitely like where I hope they'll be, but then the more I think about this, right, we've talked so much about how last year was a fluke of a season, for the most part. Not just the Browns season, but for everybody.
Even for Tampa.
For everybody, because it was a weird year. Now, I think definitely we can see they're a better team on paper. We can see they played better, at points last year. But now we're going to go through a full season, 17-game season, and I don't want to have too many high expectations that are going to get dashed too quickly.
Right. I get that. And it completely makes sense.
So out of the two out of the 3 bold predictions, I agreed with. And the ones are Myles Garrett will lead the league in sacks, and the AFC Championship game. I do not think they will be a top 3 offense.
Do you think they'll be top 5?
I think they'll flirt with top 5, but still be outside the top 5.
I could see them literally at 5.
My issue still is, and will continue to be until they prove me otherwise, Baker Mayfield's consistency.
Yeah, I knew that's where you were.
So you know exactly where I was going. So it's the fact that in this type of offensive system, the wide zone scheme, that in year 2 there's always a correction from the defensive side. So every year in year 2 you can go look at all the quarterbacks who played in it, whether it's Jared Goff or Jimmy Garoppolo or even Matt Ryan. There is a correction, and you see a decline in play.
How come Nick Foles won a Super Bowl?
That was a fluke.
That was also Doug Peterson being really creative offensively. But I agree with Myles Garrett leading the league in sacks. Yeah. And I'm on the fence about the Browns having top 5 offense, or top 3.
Top 3 is what the prediction was, yeah.
I think it'll be, I'm going to say they'll be top 10. I'm not quite ready to say top 5 just yet.
I almost have to say for sure top 10.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. Not quite top 5. And then AFC Championship, let me see them at first get back to the AFC divisional round.
I also feel like I'd be able to make a much better prediction like 3 or 4 games in.
Yeah, because that way you can get a better scope of everything.
It's just so much harder right now.
Yeah, it is.
You have a better idea of what the roster is going to look like, what guys are in, guys are out, surprise cuts, guys that are on the bubble. I know there's lots of guys that could be out on, by the time that we hit week 1. I mean, that's what happens when you have a good team and a deep team, is that you cut guys who are actually good.
Right.
Week 1, I can say this, I'm going to have my eyes like real focused on week 1 because we've been so bad historically in week 1.
Yeah.
And I want to see us come back from that.
When was the last time we won a week 1 game?
It's been a while.
It's been way too long.
Close to a 20. I think it's like close to a 20-year.
I think it's been like 20 years.
I just think of the past couple of years, especially 2 years ago, where like we were so sure of ourselves. First game, smacked in the mouth.
43-13.
First game, smacked in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Win, lose, just be competitive.
Yeah. Don't let Kansas City get out to like a 30-0 lead.
That would be real impressive.
30-0 lead is not what you have to be worried about, because that game's literally going to be over at that point. It's if they get a 2-score lead, period. So whether that's 9 points, 10 points, 11 points,
it's over.
13 points, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
They have to remain.
Once Kansas City gets a 2-score lead, it's over, because you're going to have to adjust your offense from what they're good at, which is running, play action, wide zone, to straight drop back passing. And Baker stinks at that. He is a bad straight drop back passer.
And the Chiefs too. They could be down by like, let's say 21, 5 minutes left. They can all of a sudden win by 10 by the end of the game. They're weird like that.
That's a rough game 1.
I compared the Kansas City Chiefs to like the 2015, 2016 Golden State Warriors, where they were never out of the game. Like there would be a couple games where, like, for example, the Warriors would be down 28. Okay, maybe not that big of a deficit, but
no, that happens.
Yeah, and then the next thing you know, they're up by 5.
The other side to this, though, is that week 1 is always wacky.
Yeah, I mean, week 1, I don't have high expectations for week 1, but I think my expectations might be a little higher than the rest of the room for the entire season. I think that in terms of Myles Garrett leading the league in sacks, you got the Bosa brothers both healthy and back. You got Aaron Donald. You got Khalil Mack. There's other guys out there that are going to compete. I think that
Chase Young.
Chase Young. The improvements in our secondary is going to be huge. If we can get some coverage sacks on top of the sacks that he gets just from being an absolute animal, I mean, that's going to add to his sack total, because I think with our secondary being as bad as it was, he wasn't getting much help. He really had to get to the quarterback quick. So I think that is going to help him. I think the play of Clowney is going to potentially take sacks away from Myles Garrett's total. If he plays well and stays healthy, he could take a couple sacks away from him.
Or he could help him.
I think he'll help him, honestly.
We'll see.
Let's say he got 10 sacks and Garrett got 25.
But back to Brian, I do feel like that'll help him out.
Yeah, but going back to the expectation thing, though, it's like for the Cleveland Browns, if we're not going to be excited about this team this year, and we're not going to put hopes on this team, when are we ever going to do it? Because this is the best Browns team from top to bottom that we've had in my existence on this planet. So it's like, if I'm not going to get excited and set the bar high this year, when am I going to?
Yeah,
I think that the history of disappointment that we've all felt by being fans of the Browns is leading people to actually have lower expectations than maybe should be on the Browns.
That's
because
fair.
Look,
that's
they have
a genuine statement.
Yeah, they have all the pieces. They have the roster. They
have the coach.
Right.
I feel like there's a happy medium.
Yeah, I think so too.
Between being way too enthused and definitely a lot of people right now are on the other side of that.
Somewhere between Chirk's Browns are going to win the Super Bowl and your guys is, maybe 10th in the league offense-wise.
No, what I see, well, I'll tell you what I see. I see them 5th in offense, maybe 10-7. 11-6. So we're going to be right there on the edge to hopefully everything works out. And then if we can get our way in and we're strong in the offseason like we were last year, then maybe we make that AFC Championship.
So with your prediction of 10-7 or 11-6, do you think that's enough to win the division?
I can't really say yet. I don't know. No. I don't see them winning the division. I can't say whether I see them sneaking into the playoffs with that, is what I meant. But no, period, I don't think they're going to win the division.
So here's where I'm at, just so we're clear. When kickoff happens, I'm going to be feeling pretty good. Wearing my Jarvis Landry jersey, got my orange, brown, and the elf hat on, getting ready to go cheering the team. But looking at it from a broad, unbiased perspective, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
So I have a general question, and this is one of those
question.
This is another one of these obscure topics that I love to talk about and investigate. So obviously, a big part of preparing for your opponent week by week is watching film. So for week 1, when we play Kansas City, are we going to watch film from what they did in the playoffs last season? Are we going to watch film from what they did in the preseason? What type of film should the Browns watch to prepare for Kansas City?
I don't know. I think maybe you watch that last game for sure. But I'm not sure if that's all you should be watching. I mean, you make a good point, and I think this is going to be a hard question for any team to figure out. And it goes back to last season being so weird.
So the way to do it is not just look at one thing specifically. It's look at a couple of different things. You look at how Tampa defended them in the Super Bowl. You look and compare your defensive personnel to Tampa's. You evaluate what type of schemes Mahomes and the Chiefs offense typically struggles against. You look at what other teams run those schemes and see what they did and how to game plan it that way. You find which ways to properly evaluate what they do poorly versus what you do well, and you try and, I guess,
capitalize on it.
Try to meet in the middle on the two, because looking at one thing versus the other thing and just using that be one or the other is typically how a lot of people fall into false numbers when it comes to evaluating things.
I just think it's interesting to think about, do you look at the AFC divisional round game? Do you look at the preseason games?
Well, you look at neither of those.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I would say
it's preseason, so no. AFC division round? No. Chad Henne played half that game. You don't look at any of that.
That is very true. It's I know that, but that just didn't register with me right away.
I still would watch film from that game because Kansas City might run similar stats.
I'd rather them watch film from that than any preseason film whatsoever. Because a team as good as the Chiefs is not going to show you anything in the preseason.
Watching preseason.
They'd rather lose 50-0 all 3 games of the preseason than show a team anything that's going to give them a competitive advantage.
Right, I get that, but it's when you're in week 1 specifically, because come week 2 you can watch what the team did in week 1. But with specifically week 1, what if you're playing a team that you didn't play last season, and they have a whole new head coach and all that,
just because we're up against a commercial break, I think you can boil it down to just it's going to be hard to prepare for that game.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
Period.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to head to a commercial. Chirk, take us off into commercial land.
Chirk has us all just wanting to rhyme, so turn up the dial, cause it's sports talk time. So What's the Catch is back in 3, 2, now.
This episode is Lisa, it's your birthday.
Okay, we disavowed that episode. But we are back on So What's the Catch. Keep your headphones on, you'll know what's going on. But thank you, Chirk, with the sneaky comeback bumper that I did not even really hear. But I heard enough to know that it was not a commercial.
Yeah, you're even right about that, James. I hate you. Season 4, episode 17. He said something in the break that was like trivia, and he was right.
I mean, come on.
He's the trivia king.
We'll get back to that. But
Hey,
anyway,
I was watching Simpsons while I was walking the treadmill yesterday.
I've watched literally every episode of The Simpsons, but you still got me on that.
So the episode I was referencing, you disallow it.
We disavowed that episode.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off air, but we disavowed that one.
Okay, anyway, we are saluting General Baseball.
General Baseball.
General Baseball.
Yes. So, before we get to the main stories, one quick thing. This Saturday, I am going to the Indians game. You're going on Sunday. But it's a big game for me because I've talked about this on the show many times with the pyrotechnics and stuff. Since it's an afternoon game, I'm going to be trying full exposure, meaning no headphones, no earplugs, no ducking down, no leaving my seat. Facing the fireworks head on.
God bless you.
Yep.
I'm rooting for it.
Yep. I will give you an update on the next show. So, wanted to put that out there. But Miguel Cabrera hit his 500th career home run. Dude is, if he's not a Hall of Famer, I don't know who is.
Well, he is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot. Probably won't be unanimous, but he'll probably be pretty close.
Yeah, for someone in today's MLB to be in the 500 home run club and have over a lifetime batting average of over 300, it's just incredible. I don't know that we'll ever see it again. I don't know that anybody's ever going to hit 500 home runs and have over a 300 batting average anymore.
So, I wish he had actually done it.
Trout if he plays long enough?
Yeah, maybe Trout.
Maybe Trout.
I wish he had hit his 500th in Detroit.
He had a week to do it, and he didn't.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's part of the problem playing in Comerica National Park is that it's so big.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too. I mean, if you would have played in a ballpark like in Colorado or something, the dude would probably be at 700.
Yeah, if he played Colorado or played for the Yankees.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if he played for the Florida Marlins, and that stadium was awful. Holy crap.
So kind of random, but it is hour 2. You guys remember Melky Cabrera?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Milkman.
When we got him, like, I was so confused for a long time because I kept hearing great things about Miguel Cabrera, and I was so like that's an easy mistake to make.
It is.
Yeah.
Random, but it's hour 2.
So, another thing with the Tigers is their TV analyst, Jack Morris, he's been suspended indefinitely due to remarks he made about Shohei Ohtani.
He made a very outdated thing you would see in a television show or a movie like 40 years ago when talking about an Asian person.
Was he imitating?
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah, not surprised here. I'm not sure when or if ever he will be back on the radio, and that's a drive into deep left by Castellanos.
We're talking an all-time worst apology I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was one of the more pathetic apologies I've seen.
Isn't the dude like quite a bit older?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Not that that ever makes it right, but my point is, like, I just think it's more and more you're seeing like this cleansing of like that older attitude.
It is.
And he's in the he's in Cooperstown too.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's a TV analyst, not radio.
Whatever. I don't care.
Same idea. Difference. He will no longer be on air.
Don't spoil my joke.
Yeah, just out of touch, just super out of touch. I don't necessarily know that the guy, is or is not racist, but he's obviously got some inherent biases that he needed to address. I don't think that he's ever going to be back on TV or the radio again. I don't think that he should be, honestly. When you show that you're that out of touch and you make a remark like that in 2021, like, I'm sorry, maybe it's time for you to retire.
You could tell too that like somebody in between innings had to like tell him that was wrong.
Yeah,
he
had no
definitely
idea.
didn't. Like if nobody had said anything, he just would have.
Doesn't make it right, but
he issued
yeah.
his own half-assed apology.
Right.
Yeah, that was a horrible apology if I've ever seen one.
And I'm sure he was told to do that.
He was.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
he even said, I was told to, that I said something that may have been offensive. So he was not even aware what he did was possibly offensive, which it was.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't make it okay, but it's just this attitude is prevalent, in baseball for whatever reason, still to this day, and it's something like I think they're starting to root out.
Yeah.
But this has happened, and I think you might see more cases like that.
Well, I have 2 words for you. Are you ready? It's called old whites.
Old whites.
I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, that's valid.
They are slowly getting rid of the old whites.
Yeah, but unfortunately, baseball is still not playing to the younger generation.
It's too long.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems with the major league game right now.
That's the
Put it that
hardest
way.
one to get around, though.
It is.
Starts at 3,
How do you
ends
shorten?
at 7.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Starts at 3, ends at 7. 4 hours right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but what's interesting? The Tigers TV broadcast has had quite the cycle in and out of people that they've had in their booth, because probably about 5-6 years ago they had 2 guys, Mario Hemba and Rod Allen, that got into a fight during.
Oh, that's right, during
yes.
their broadcast. Yeah, that was
over
incredible.
Like, a chair.
Wait, so this is Detroit?
Yeah.
That's why. Detroit's a crazy city in itself.
So those two did not like each other, and it was like not a secret that they didn't like each other, and they had like some weird fight over a chair or something. So there's been like a cycle of guys for like probably 6 years now.
Currently, the Tigers are losing to the Cardinals 2-1 at the end of the 7th inning, by the way.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
Breaking news.
Thank you for that. All right, what we got here? Freddie Freeman hits second career cycle against the Marlins.
Yeah, he hit his second career cycle, which means you get a single, double, triple, and a home run, and he did it all in 6 innings.
Did he do I forget what they call it, the cycle we do in order?
Oh, I don't think it was in order, no.
No, I don't think it was in order.
That's so hard to do.
Good for Freddie Freeman, though. I mean, talk about just like an all-time stand-up guy, just good representative of the game of baseball. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But the only thing with the cycle, like, it's fun, but, I mean, it's a gimmick. I mean, there's better games than a cycle, that people have every season. It's
Are
just
there,
that,
though?
Yeah, absolutely. 4 home run games have happened.
Yeah, I get your point is valid.
You can hit for a cycle and have 1 RBI.
For me,
one.
1 RBI.
Yeah, your point is completely valid, but for me, I think a cycle is more amazing.
Sure. I don't know. Maybe that's just like the former player in me. Like, I never went into a game like, oh, I hope I hit for the cycle tonight. It was like, I hope I drive in a lot of runs and contribute to this game any way that I can. You don't really want to go single, double, triple. Like, I don't know. I just don't think that baseball players work that way.
It's a fan thing.
They really don't care about it from what I've heard in interviews. I mean, I've listened to plenty of interviews of guys that have like either hit or gotten close to it, and they're like, yeah, I really.
Right. But it's definitely exciting.
As
it's
a
definitely
fan,
rare.
I can appreciate it.
It's rare and it's exciting. So,
Yeah, that's why
absolutely.
I value
It's
it.
definitely worth talking about.
That's why I value it more than a 3 home run game. But I get why people say, no, the 3 home run game is more special.
It's kind of like the Galarraga perfect game.
Yeah.
That wasn't a perfect game. It's like to people who saw it and were there, that's, it's a perfect game.
I was in a bar when that happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've watched
a bar in Detroit when that happened.
I've watched a lot of baseball, and I have never physically seen a game, watched a game live, and seen somebody hit the cycle yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare.
So that just shows me how rare it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's a rarity.
Rare. Mm-hmm.
It's rare. Not as rare as a no-hitter or a perfect game, but it's rare.
Right.
And it's all because of that triple. You can get the home run.
You have to be in the right ballpark, and you have to have the ball bounce off the wall a certain way, or like a guy fall over for it to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially for someone like Freddie Freeman, who's not fast.
No.
Right.
I did it before on the Wii.
I've seen plenty of people come close, and it's usually like they need to get the single or just something silly, but
yeah,
man, it's just hard to get it all together.
It's not like one of those things like the triple-double with Ricky Davis where he throws himself into the rebound. Like, you're not going to see a guy go up to the plate and he only needs a single left for the cycle and he's going to go, I hope I don't get too good a contact on this one. I want to make sure that,
they'll take the
they're going to drive it into the lane and they're going to take that double all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a video game. I think I've hit for the cycle like twice in MLB The Show, and I've been playing that game for like 14 years.
If you're playing on expert, it's impressive.
It's really hard. And the only way that it happened is that Brandon Nimmo ran into the wall and knocked himself over. That's the only way it happened.
Who are you? So you were playing against the Mets. Who were you playing as?
It was actually a Diamond Dynasty, so he was in center field.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't as the Mets. It was like an all-star team of people. So I think I did it with like who was it?
Going back to the
Conte, maybe?
Oh,
He's not particularly fast.
No.
Well, real quick, in terms of how exciting it is, if you had the choice to watch a game and you knew there could either be a cycle, a no-hitter, or yada yada, what would be your number one thing to see?
Oh, perfect game.
That's
hands down.
Because I feel like it's more exciting as a fan to see a game where the cycle's going on. Pitching's awesome. I can appreciate a good pitching game.
Yeah, a casual fan might want to see a cycle.
Casual fan, it's going to be more boring.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not a casual fan. I would say I'm a pretty big fan, but I would still say the cycle because that means the guy's getting on base and doing stuff. Whereas sometimes it feels like a no-hitter's a little bit slow because or a perfect game is a little bit slow because it means.
That's my point, I think.
Well, who's saying the team where the guy's pitching the perfect game doesn't score like 20 runs?
That's true too.
That's also true.
That just happened the other night with the no-hitter. It was a team that they won 9-0 or 11-0.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds.
Right.
A whole bunch of offense and a guy just shutting down the other team.
It is important to say this though to people who might not understand how rare a perfect game is. There's been over 150 years in Major League Baseball. There's only ever been 23 perfect games. That's versus 218,400 games played.
Yeah.
That is super rare.
The fact that there's been that many games in general.
162 a year for each team. You know, in 150 years, it's a lot of games. So
by the way, we talked about the schedule coming out for Major League Baseball. The Indians are going to be playing at home against the San Francisco Giants on Jackie Robinson Day.
I like that matchup. Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Unfortunately, it's a Friday night game, so they'll probably do post-game fireworks, which means I can't go.
Go Guardians.
Yes.
All right.
They will be the Guardians next season.
Go future Guardians. I will be there freezing my ass off in the cold. Just like I'll be there for the home opener.
I want to go to that home opener.
But we need to head to a break. We come back. We got kind of a little bit of a mixed bag of stuff, and Kramer's got a quiz.
Yes, I do.
Woo! Yeah.
So what's the catch on All Sports Cleveland? Trying to stump James for over 6 months and failing. But hope springs eternal. It's Kramer quiz time.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's not quite Kramer quiz time because we got a couple hockey topics to get to first.
We'll make it quick.
Yes.
We know y'all don't like the hockey talk.
And yeah, we don't really.
Hey, I'm a credentialed media member for the Cleveland Monsters, my friend.
Yes.
Oh, hey, okay.
Yeah.
So we got an official hockey guy
here. And
here.
excuse me, but I am a partial season ticket holder for the Monsters.
So quickly, because everybody wants to get the Kramer quiz.
Yes.
What is the hockey? What's the haps in hockey?
You have 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Defenseman Owen Power, the #1 overall pick of the Buffalo Sabres from this year's NHL draft, has said, nah, I don't want to play for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm going to go back to Michigan.
Let me jump in real quick and just by saying that he's choosing to go back to what might be the greatest college hockey team of all time. We're looking at a roster here that's going to go to the Frozen Four, and they're going to win it.
Oh.
We have 4 players drafted in the top 5 of this year's NHL draft, and out of those 4 players, 3 of them are choosing to return. Not just Owen Power. It's a trend. It's not an exception, and that's because these guys are so excited to go kick every size in the Big Ten this year.
I think it's
on their way to it.
Definitely clipping that audio.
Yeah, we're clipping that audio.
Good, clip it. I'm serious. Clip it.
I think it's also that Owen Power does not want to play for the dumpster fire that is the Buffalo Sabres.
That's it too.
Because they are an absolute dumpster fire. Holy crap!
Yeah. That's the great thing about hockey. They can choose to go back. Not only that, he might come back next year.
Yeah.
Baseball do that too.
Although if you do that with baseball, you have to re-enter the draft.
You do have to re-enter,
which is not the case with hockey. If you go back to school, you can go back to the team that drafted you. And then the other story, hence why I'm wearing my Vegas Golden Knights shirt, is because we might only soon have one hockey team in the desert and not two, because the city of Glendale, Arizona has decided to not renew their lease with the NHL's Arizona Coyotes. Now, Commissioner Gary Bettman has come out and said the plan is to keep the Coyotes in Arizona, maybe move the team to like Tempe, but I don't think they're staying in Arizona. I think they're moving to Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, putting a hockey team in the desert never made sense. It still doesn't make sense. I mean, with that being said, though, you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning and their success. You know, warm weather climate teams can do very well, but Arizona's not crazy about hockey. They're not. So I don't think it's that big of a deal if they pack up and
Vegas went
move.
to the Stanley Cup final in their very first year.
Right.
So my problem with the whole Houston thing is that there's already a team in Dallas and Texas. And hockey is not necessarily a popular sport in Texas. Putting another team in Texas sounds like a terrible idea.
I see Alaska. What's more?
Alaska.
Just throw another team in Canada. Just move them to Canada.
Seattle got their team that they deserved. Somewhere like Seattle. Maybe Portland.
Oh, I got an idea. Move to Hartford. Bring back the Whalers.
There you go. Bring the whale back.
You were about to say move them to Quebec and bring back the Nordiques.
That too.
Well, that too. NHL '94. Let's go back.
Okay, quick thing before we go to the quiz. I am wearing my Minnesota Twins hat that, as he has a timer on me, but I got this hat as a replacement for the one I somehow lost in Aspen,
3,
Colorado.
2,
done.
Cutting it close, cutting it real close.
Look at that. All right.
Hey, Chirk, you said you had a berserker.
Yes, I do have Berserkers of the week.
Berserker of the
Plural.
week? Get it with this.
Let's have a drum roll.
Okay. You didn't make a bumper.
Yeah, you need to make a bumper for this.
I do need to make a bumper. The Berserkers of the week are all the Berserkers and everybody here that was supportive of what happened last week, because I was going through a lot. So
Nice.
All right.
I want to thank
All right, it's Kramer quiz time.
everyone that was supportive.
I'm a berserker right now.
So kudos to me. Anyways.
It's all of you.
Kramer quiz time. So since Chirk earlier said Super Bowl, Super Browns, I thought that we should go ahead and take a look at some Super Bowl related questions.
Ooh.
These are supposed to be 12 very difficult, supposedly. I never, want to say that till we're sure, but supposedly very difficult Super Bowl questions. Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls, Mr. Tom Brady. Which player has the second most Super Bowl wins?
Joe Montana.
Yeah, Joe Montana.
We said player.
This is saying you were wrong.
So you said player.
It says which player has the
that's the
second
key word right there,
most
not quarterback,
Super
player.
Bowl wins. Yes, player.
Oh, okay.
I said these are supposed to be difficult because I didn't think it was that easy.
Okay, that's actually a really good question, then. Is it?
Well, that quiz.
It is a Hall of Famer, I can tell you that.
Jerry Rice?
No.
How many did?
Tim Brown.
Mark Schlereth.
What's really bad about
Chris
this is
Long.
I don't even know who this guy is. Like, when I tell you, you might know who he is.
Steve Atwater.
None of you have got it so far.
Terrell? No, not Terrell.
So I can't even really give you hints. Other than it says he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
So we're
Is he an
talking about an
offensive
older
lineman?
player.
He doesn't know who he is.
Oh.
Any last guesses?
Super Bowl era. We're not talking like NFL championships before Super Bowl, are we?
Rob Woodson.
Because if we're talking championships, we got Jim Brown, we got...
It is Charles Haley with 5.
Haley.
Charles Haley.
Defensive
Who is
end.
that?
He was a defensive line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. So yeah, no score on that one.
That was a tricky one.
Yeah, but it was already, the question was wrong because it said Tom Brady had 6 Super Bowls. He has 7.
He does have 7.
So
This is from last year, right before that Super Bowl. Whatever. Name the 7 starters. This is a difficult one too. Name the 7 starters, offense and defense, from the Chiefs' Super Bowl 4 team to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I can name one. Len Dawson.
Yeah, that's all I can name is Len Dawson.
It's definitely Len Dawson. Anybody know any of the
Curly
other
Cup.
ones? Yes.
If you get one, you win, Church.
I'm giving a point to both of them. I think any one is a point. So all 5 of you got 1 because everybody got Len Dawson.
Yeah.
And I'll give Chirk 1 there for Curly Cup. Anybody else got any other guesses?
I got nothing.
I got none.
This is tough. You're gonna say a name I know, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Len Dawson, Curly Cup, Buck Buchanan, Bobby Bell, Willie Lanier, Emmett Thomas, and Johnny Robinson.
Nope, didn't know any of those names.
Yeah,
I knew
I
Emmett
know.
Thomas.
I'm glad we're getting into some
That was a
obscure
tough
stuff.
Never heard of them people.
Question number 3 now. Name the 4 QBs to start the Super Bowl with multiple teams.
Peyton Manning.
Tom Brady.
Joe Mon. Oh,
This is
Super
bef-
to
this-
start a
This is
Super.
before this one, so Tom Brady's not on this list, is he?
Tom Brady is on this list.
Okay.
So far, all of you have gotten 1. Wait, what was your guess?
Peyton Manning.
That is on there.
Tom Brady, I said.
Tom Brady is on there.
And then
There's
Chirk,
2 more.
Chirk, I think. Who did you say, Chirk?
I didn't say.
I thought you said Montana.
No, Montana didn't go to.
Montana's not on there.
Hold on.
I'm thinking.
Do they have to start, or can they be on the roster of a team?
Let me take a look at
he
this
said
question.
start.
4 QBs to start the Super Bowl
Okay, start.
with multiple teams.
Okay, so Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah,
Kurt Warner.
Good one.
1 more.
Is he a
No.
current era player?
I don't think so.
Not L.A.
Not.
I can give you 1 hint. I don't know if this will really give it away or not, but salt.
Salt.
Johnny
Salt.
Unitas?
Pepper.
Salt and pepper's here.
Okay.
As in a salt company that's in Ohio.
Ooh.
Craig Morton.
Craig Morton. It is
There we
correct.
go. Morton Salt.
You got that one.
I get the reference now.
So is that a point for each?
Yeah, I think.
I think overall, I'm just going to have to give that one to James.
Okay.
Because he got
Sure.
the most right.
Yep.
So that's a point
Agreed.
for James. I think so. James and Chirk are tied.
He on my team, so we both win.
Right now, everybody else has 1 except for Chirk and that guy.
Just that guy.
They each have 2. Okay. Who was the MVP in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' previous Super Bowl appearance?
Dexter Jackson.
Dexter Jack. You got that one.
If that's the right answer.
That is.
Okay, Chirk, Dexter Jackson.
They tied.
Yeah, they tied on.
I got to give it to James. That was definitely, it was a little early. Who is the last non-quarterback Super Bowl MVP?
Julian Edelman. Wide receiver, Super Bowl 53.
He's correct.
Oh, look at that.
You were quick with that.
Very
Oh, I remember that one.
So we got James 3, Josh 2, Chirk 2, y'all 1.
Y'all.
Y'all. Who is the only Super Bowl MVP from a losing team?
Losing?
It's a tough one.
Von Miller.
Dan Marino.
No, the Broncos won that Super Bowl.
Dan
yeah.
Marino.
It isn't
right.
either of those. This goes back some time though. For a hint, it's from Super Bowl 5.
Fran Tarkenton.
Fran Tarkenton.
No.
Who won?
I don't remember who it is. I want to say it was
Unitas?
No.
No.
Super Bowl 5. I
I want to say it was like a linebacker or a kicker, but I don't remember who it is.
Any last guesses?
I don't know his name.
Vinatieri.
His name is Jim.
Chuck Howley.
Who?
Another Howley? Wasn't? Or that was a
Howley.
How many
Chuck
Howleys have we had?
No, that was Haley.
H-O-W-L-E-Y.
Oh, we had a Chuck
We had a
Haley and a
Haley.
Chuck. Okay.
He was a linebacker, and he was a linebacker.
What is the highest scoring game in Super Bowl history?
We already had this
52.
Too many answers at once.
Super Bowl 52. 41-33.
I don't think that was what the question was.
You said highest scoring.
Okay.
Highest
All right,
scoring
I guess
team?
that is the question. Yeah, it's Super Bowl, San Francisco 49, San Diego 26.
Oh, I was wrong then.
So you were wrong.
So nobody gets a point.
Nobody gets a point because I screwed up.
It's all good.
Next question. That's the answer.
Next question.
Trying this again. What is the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history?
Super Bowl.
The lowest
The
score.
Rams Patriots one.
Yeah,
They
that was-
scored,
Yeah, 13-3.
13-3.
It is Rams Patriots. James is getting back there.
Up to 4.
So I think you two got a tie now, and Chirk.
How does he have a tie?
Wait, how do I
He doesn't have a tie?
I thought there was a tie there.
No, I have 4 points. 2-2-1-1.
Oh darn it! You guys aren't helping here. I'm like trying to sneak
don't
points
know the
away from
answer.
James.
I want this to be fair.
My football knowledge is not that high.
All right, we got 4 more questions.
Jeez.
I feel like if you did a UFC or boxing trivia, AJ would wreck.
Of course, but we have football coming up in a couple weeks. I just figured this made sense. But which city has hosted the most
Miami.
Super Bowls?
Miami.
Did he not run away with it? Miami.
New Orleans.
I'm just
I would have guessed. I would have guessed New Orleans or Atlanta.
Who scored? This is one I definitely wouldn't know. Who scored the first touchdown in Super Bowl history?
I
Was
don't
somebody from the
know.
Packers.
Bart Starr.
You are correct. No, not Bart Starr, but you are correct that it's somebody from the Packers.
Okay. Do I get a point for that?
No.
Not
Darn
Bart
it.
Starr.
These trivia
Jerk
questions
is
make
saying
me feel
Bart
like
Starr,
a
but I have a feeling
stooge.
that's not
No.
correct.
Packers Super Bowl 1. That was in 1960.
I'm just gonna go out there and say I don't know a single player on either roster. For those.
I wouldn't know this.
Yeah, I don't
last
know this
guesses?
one.
No.
Max McGee.
Oh, old Max McGee.
Max
Yeah, he's my favorite. I got
Ah,
Oh yeah, I have his jersey hanging up
my
in my
second
room.
cousin on my
Maybe
aunt's side.
irrelevant to Terrence.
Down to
McGee.
2 more questions. So, did James already win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least let's get some showing here, all right?
Okay, go on.
Who has the most rushing yards in a single Super Bowl?
Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis.
No.
Wait, why
Terrell
do we
Davis.
guess Jamal Lewis, the most obscure running back?
Is it not Terrell Davis?
Is it?
No.
Okay. Emmett Smith.
No. But you know what? You got the right last name.
Smith.
John Smith.
Terrell or
No.
Joe Smith.
No. But if you keep
Dan.
guessing
Antoine.
random names, you might
Antoine
get it.
Smith.
Jerry
Antoine
Smith.
Smith.
He said
Michael
Antoine Smith.
Smith.
Antoine Smith.
No.
God.
Antoine Smith.
It says that it
Antoine
was with
Jameson.
204 yards, and it was in Super Bowl 22.
Tim
That counts.
Biakabatuka.
Who?
Tim Biakabatuka. I don't
So
think
this would have been the most rushing yards, and it is Super Bowl 22, 204 yards.
1988.
Yeah. Jeez.
Bo Jackson.
One more clue from Washington.
Yeah, I knew that, but that doesn't help.
Yeah, I think that was that the fun bunch.
Doug.
Timmy Smith.
Old Timmy Smith.
Was that the fun bunch?
I don't know.
I think we're the
Old
fun
Tim
bunch.
Smith and the Fun Bunch, yeah.
And this one is fairly easy. Which 4 teams have never appeared in a Super Bowl?
Browns, Jaguars,
Texans.
Texans.
I've yet to understand.
They were all
Browns,
set.
Lions, Jaguars, Texans.
They were all
All
set, yeah.
right.
Wait, who's the other team you said?
Texans.
Texans.
No,
Browns,
Texans.
Lions, Jaguars, Texans.
Lions.
So
Yeah.
what's the
Well, it's another week where James won, but hope springs eternal. So much like we used to say, maybe next year, maybe next week.
That does it for us on So What's the Catch. Check out next week. Maybe I lose. Probably not.
Stooge. You're a stooge.
You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically